Good morning, Warriors. It's another episode of Morning Retention Talk. We're at January 19th, I believe it is, and 2022. Hope you guys doing well, going off this morning and doing things and changing the world one person at a time. So thank you for all the subscriptions. I think we're over 300, which is wonderful. Thank you for the donations and the comments and the likes. And we take a lot of comments that we talk about, and we try to kind of share some information that'll be collectively together, just not me, everybody putting together and talking about. And I have a lot of great comments, and I want to point out Patriot Gains, a new one, Nick Most, number one, new subscription. Thank you guys very, very much. I appreciate that. Along with Matthew and Alberto, a lot of people who are commenting and putting a lot of good information out. And so I want to kind of go ahead and talk about, an issue that a few people have brought up now. So it's more than just one. But let's talk a little bit about the effect of social media and why this is a temptation. There's no doubt about it that, with the technology and things that we have, the world is a faster place when it comes to information. And of course, pictures come along with that. And so as we look at the whole idea of technology, it is a tool, but the tool can be used for good or bad. And so as people use that, they're creating types of things within us. Now, what's happening is that, and especially with the current health situation that we're in, what ends up happening is a lot of people tend to use media almost as a, having something else in the room with them, overcoming loneliness, overcoming issues, especially, like I said, since a lot of people are kind of shut in different parts of the world, it's very difficult not to get around the idea that you can use this as a noise. I know people even back in the old days when it came to radio or television, when I was growing up, people would just have that in their rooms playing, in their kitchens and their living rooms and things like that, because they wanted to have some sort of information or some sort of someone talking back. We all need that. We need that, interaction. We need that touch. We need those type of things. A lot of research shows that we need touch, to survive. We need to have people around us, and this is when people are shut in and they can't, this is what happens. A lot of people, end up getting sick and depressed and things like that because they have no one around them. And so this is where the technology and things help out for people because they feel like they're more connected. Now, the danger in all that is to kind of depend a lot on that. And nowadays, with the idea of the phones and things that we have, people get very highly addicted to the technology. But remember, it's still a tool. And so as we look at this idea of social media, the danger of this is making it look like more than a tool. It becomes part of your life. Now, what should be part of your life should be the retention journey you're on. And that should oversee any other type of, any type of, idea, lifestyle change, addiction that you have. And this is where this 1% clumps come in, because most people can't handle this. And I know in my classes, if I ask the students to put the phone away, it is invariably within 5 minutes. That's most of the students want the phone back because they just can't deal with it. It's almost like be part of them. Now, this is the danger that we see with this type of technology. Now, I'm not saying that technology is bad and those type of things, and certainly people who are making those technologies, they want to make money, and this is a lot of it is for products and making money. But you as a consumer on the other end of it have to realize it is around us. Now, does it mean you have to play into it? Well, that's up to you. That's going to be your choice. But the dangers of this is something you're aware of. You have to make a concerted effort to not allow the pictures, the things to kind of seep into you. But there's a number of things you can do to kind of stop this. And one, of course, is going to hard-nosed monk mode. I have found over another 110 days that I'm on this, that's one of the best things you can do. If you get to the point where you have a long streak and now you're ready for something like that, I would recommend that very highly. Because now what you're doing is you're getting away from any thoughts and ideas, and now you're concentrating on everything else but these things. And when you start concentrating, now you can succeed and do other things and achieve your goals and get things done. Now, are you still going to be surprised once in a while when you get a picture on your internet screen or those type of things, your phone? Yes, those things happen. Those things are going to happen. I think there's a reason for those things happening. But you have the choice then. And the more desensitized, the more sensitive you are and desensitized to the other stuff you are, the better off you can say no, just move on. It's not that important to you. And when you look at people, even in these situations, there's some people who are just, we call them cold-hearted and they don't care. But what they're really doing is blocking out any sort of sensitivity. And they've learned to do that. Now, what ends up happening, of course, is that the other people in their lives become more attracted to them. All this kind of stuff happens, and so now you have kind of a real interesting dynamics there. When people are pulling away, then other people start pulling them back in, and so you have this dynamics in which you have people who have been able to block these things out. What ends up happening is people come back more at you because of those things. And so you're going to see more temptation. You're going to see people flirting with you more. You're going to see people doing those type of things more because they realize, A, you have the great amount of energy, but B, that you're not really caring about that sort of thing. And that makes you highly attractive because you're a catch. You're someone that people want. And so when you see that, that's going to be something that's going to affect you a great deal. So as we talk about this, you have to realize that your energy and time is very valuable. And so as you do that, the second thing you need to do is make sure that not only you're on your retention plan, especially monk mode, but the second thing you have to do is make sure you set goals. That you really want to focus on achieving goals. So even when you're dreaming at night, all day long, think about your goals. And as you think about your goals, you're thinking less about these other types of things that can distract you. And so you have no time to think about those things. And so you're not as tied into that person. And I'm not saying from a cold-hearted standpoint, and there's no reason why you still can't enjoy the relationship with your husband or wife and those type of things. But just remember that you have to control things on your end of it so that it doesn't get out of hand, and now you're looking at pictures and these type of things that are there. Because as soon as you start entering and letting that stuff come into your life, you're going to have problems again. I did for many years, and I thought I could deal with it, but I can't. So I had to go to complete monk mode to be able to try to stop this. And so far it's been working at 110 days, and we're getting closer to 600 overall. So the thing is that you have to kind of make sure you have a purpose. And when I talk about purpose and plan, this is what I'm talking about. Have an idea what you want to do. Now, careers change. I think they say careers change 6 or 7 times in your lifetime. Nowadays, it used to be a lot different back in the older days. But these type of things are important to have some focus. Don't focus on the pictures, the images, the people who want to tempt you into things. Focus on the goals and make sure those are things that you want. And then obviously from that time, make some steps and keep focusing on doing those things. Do something every day to achieve your goal. And so focus on something to get away from your mind doing these other stuff, because it's the idle mind, the mind that's not doing anything, is the mind that's focusing on getting themselves in trouble. And you know this when you see, remember as a kid, what happens is the people who are bored are the ones that get themselves in trouble because they want some excitement. And so they're bored and they're not able to focus on dealing with goals or things like that. So their time is being spent then on things that are negative, tempting types of things, gambling and addictions, drugs and things like that. And they can go deeper and deeper because then they get caught into it and they like the thrill of it, and so they continue doing it. And this is why it's important to really have those solid plans and goals. It's almost like your mind is a vacuum. If you don't fill it with good things and things that are positive, then those other things are going to seep in. Those birds will be flying over your head, and sooner or later they're going to start nesting in your head. And you don't want the bad birds doing that. And that's what happens to a lot of us, especially if we're not focusing on our goals every day and thinking about, in my mind, now this is what I do, I end up focusing on three areas of goals: financial, and then, the first thing I focus on is God. So my relationship with God, I visualize those type of things, even sitting down with my God and talking and praying to my God, all those things I even visualize at night. And then I visualize, being in shape, having the kind of body that I want to be even at 60 years old. And then also the financial part of it, the type of, money and what I want to do with that, those type of things. Those are all things that I continue focusing on. So as I focus on those things, my mind is being occupied. And anytime it gets away from that, I keep it back on those type of goals. And then I don't have time to focus on the other stuff that we're talking about, because those things do not help me achieve that goal. And that, I think, is the key. Now, I can say this at 60. When I was 20, it's very, very challenging and difficult because your testosterone level is high. Gang, I understand that. But the more you can build that habit now, the more you can start that process, the more you can do that. And then you start gaining control of the only thing you need to control in your life, and that's you. And God wants you to control you and do things in His purpose, not things you want to do for short-term pleasures. What good is five seconds of pleasure when you lose your soul? And you are losing your soul when you do this kind of stuff, especially when you're not trying to have a child. This is really an interesting type of thing that I didn't realize for a long time. You're losing your soul every time you do it. You're falling more into an addiction because then it's harder and harder to break back. All right, so anyway, I hope I helped a little bit for those who are talking about pictures and phones. I would also, the other thing I would do is take a vacation every so often. Build it up just like you would do with retention. Take it day by day. Take a day off of social media. Take a couple days off of social media and build yourself up so you don't need it. And that's the key. All right, guys, so this is January 19th, Morning Talk. I hope you enjoyed it. You guys have a great day, and we'll talk soon. Battle on.